I just don't understand what men want. Do they want a woman who is promiscuous and has been around? And no judgment, to each their own, just in the same way how I want to be respected for my choice and my lifestyle. But, like, it's either one extreme or the other. Guys are scared off when they see me, when they learn the truth about me, because I'm still a virgin. But then society labels women who do lead promiscuous lifestyles a derogatory term, which I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to mention it on air right now, but it's just one extreme and the other. And us women, we just can't win. And so I'm done. I'm tired fighting that battle, really.
You're listening to Real Love, Real Stories. And this, my friend, is a podcast to share love stories and also get tips on building meaningful relationships in all aspects of your life. This is your girl, Kanu. I'm the host and producer of the show, and I'm a therapist by training turned love guru. I am so thrilled that you have tuned in because without you, this wouldn't be so fun. So here is another great episode. Enjoy. This episode is brought to you by Mindful Matchmaker, a service that is matching grounded and authentic singles. If you are in British Columbia and are seriously looking for love, go to kanujacobson.com for more details. That is KANUJACOBSEN.com. Are you our next love story? Okay, Sonali, I'm so excited to have you on Real Love, Real Stories today. So welcome.
Thank you. I'm so
Yeah.
thrilled to be here.
Awesome. You look beautiful, and I'm excited to dive into your story. So to get us going, why don't you give us your backstory? Tell us who you are.
I am Sonali Chandra. It means golden moon, literally in Hindi. Sonali means golden. My last name Chandra means moon.
Oh, I love that. And I love that you have the gold in your background.
I know, all this bling bling. I gotta live up to my name, right?
Yes, I love it.
So I was actually born and raised in America, in New Jersey, and my parents are from India. So I'm the daughter of immigrants. And growing up, I had a very strict upbringing. No dating, no socializing, no sleepovers, no prom, and no dorming in college. But on the flip side, I learned Indian classical dance and I watched romantic Bollywood movies, which is how I was influenced in terms of how love should be. Like when you watch Bollywood movies from the 90s and the early 2000s, it's all about love and love at first sight, and you wait until marriage to have sex. In fact, I don't even like the word sex. I like the word make. I prefer the phrase making love.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my upbringing. That was my life up until age 22. At 22, I graduated with a finance degree from Rutgers University, the State University of New Jersey. And the day of graduation, on the way home after the ceremony, my father, the patriarch in my family, he started pressuring me to agree to an arranged marriage. Now, for folks out there who don't know what that is, it's a way of marrying someone who your parents choose, and you pretty much have no say in it. My parents got married that way. They've been married 39 years now. And so that's what my folks have been pressuring me to agree to for over a decade. My jaw dropped. I'm like, you never let me have a boyfriend, but now you want me to marry a stranger? Like, what is that? It's one extreme and to another. And I'm like, no, thank you. I am going to focus on my career. And, that has been the story of my life for the past 13 years. I am now 35 years young. I've had heartbreak after heartbreak. I've dated a few guys here and there, 9 to be specific. And each one was surprised and shocked and scared that I'm still a virgin. And that is my most intimate truth. I'm 35 years young today and still have my V card. I am damn proud of it. I own it. And it's the reason that I am still single, because men get scared off when they learn my truth. And then, so conventional dating methods have been very difficult for me. And then on the other end, I don't want an arranged marriage. That's such an antiquated concept to me. I'm an American-born citizen. I don't believe in that. It may have worked for other people, like my parents, but not for me. So this is who I am in a nutshell.
No, thank you for giving us a little bit of your backstory there. I have interviewed, I think, about I have three stories on my podcast where they are from arranged marriages, and it seems to work for them. But interesting that you said you were born in America and you grew up in a whole different environment, and so I can see how they can be different from wanting to follow what your parents did because they were not born here, and the life is different, right? So yeah, but I loved your tagline that says, you said something about not desperate to get married, but determined to find my soulmate. So it
Exactly.
sounds to me like there's no pressure. There's no, you're not desperate to, in the sense of like, I'm 35, the clock is ticking.
Right.
Yeah. And so I guess what I want to maybe a little bit, if you can touch a little bit more about like what the expectations of the family, what do relationship look like in your family, and then the expectations. I know you touched a little bit about that, but can you
Mhm.
dive a little deeper on that?
So, relationships in my family are very male dominated.
Mm,
I'll take first and foremost my parents' relationship. My dad is 9 years older than my mother. They
mm,
had an arranged marriage, as I mentioned before. And, growing up, that's the first kind of marital relationship I saw, right? That any kid sees, right? It's the one of their parents. And all due respect to my parents, they're good people. And I'm just being honest and sharing my perspective growing up in America. Um, my dad was the boss, is the boss still to this day. Very patriarchal, male dominated character, called the shots at home. And in fact, to this day, I'm scared of him. I'm 35. So
yeah.
that's my parents. And even like on my dad's side, he's one of four. That's this. I saw the same setup in my aunts and uncles' relationships. And my mom has a younger brother. I saw him treat his wife the same way as
Mm,
well. It's a very
mhm,
male dominated culture. And
yeah.
it's really ironic because, most Indians are Hindu. I'm a non-practicing Hindu, and most Hindu deities are female. And so in terms of religious practices, everyone's always praying to female goddesses, but in real life, it's a male dominated society. So this is something that really boggles my mind in terms of the Indian culture. So that's how relationships are, and that's how they generally speaking are in my culture. Now,
Mhm.
in terms of expectations for me, I've been forced and influenced to follow suit. But the problem is, and I take that back. It's not a problem. This is how I am. This is what makes me different and proud. I'm an American-born citizen. I went to business school. I'm all about women empowerment and empowerment, financial independence. I'm very ambitious. I'm not going to apologize for that.
Mhm.
And so, for me to be in a relationship, marriage or whatnot, where the guy is taking charge constantly, that's a recipe for disaster.
Right,
I
right.
think it should be equal. It should be comparative. It's an equal partnership in an ideal world. And that's what I'm all about. And I think that's the way, especially it being 2022 in America, that's the way it should be. Equal
Exactly.
opportunity, equal
Mhm.
power.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, you're gorgeous. Like
Oh,
absolutely.
thank you.
People
You're
will
so
be able
sweet.
to people will be able to see from even like your our thumbnail, which we use your picture. So they'll be able to see what a gorgeous, gorgeous person you are. I love your personality. You're very
Aw.
sweet and high energy and like what seems to me like a good package. So what do
You
you
would think.
feel? What's that?
You would think, yes, I am the whole package.
Oh, yeah. So what do you think in your perspective, from your experience, why are you single at 35?
Because men are constantly scared off by the fact that I am still a virgin. When it gets to that point in a relationship, when I'm dating selectively, also I will say, because I don't put myself out there and just waste my time and effort.
Mhm.
But when I'm dating a guy and he finds out that I'm still a virgin, his jaw drops. He is shocked and he runs in the other direction. Okay.
Yeah.
This has been the story of my life. It's happened over and over and over again. And at a point in my life, in my early 30s, I'm like, I'm done with games. I'm just going to focus on my career. If a
Mhm.
man happens to come my way serendipitously, I'll explore that. But other than that, I'm not going to waste my time and effort trying to find the one, And so that's been my experience. And then it's really confusing because, like I said earlier, I grew up watching Bollywood movies. And in my culture, at least in the 90s and the early 2000s, a girl who's a virgin it's a prize. It's a good thing, you know. A man, on the other hand, will go around doing whatever, but it, like I just don't understand what men want. Do they want a woman who is promiscuous and has been around? And no judgment, to each their own. Just in the same way how I want to be respected for my choice and my lifestyle, but you know, like it's either one extreme or the other. Guys are scared off when they see me, when they learn the truth about me, because I'm still a virgin. But then society labels women who do lead promiscuous lifestyles a derogatory term, which I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to mention it on air right now, but it's just one extreme and the other. And us women, we just can't win. And so I'm done. I'm tired fighting that battle, really.
So how are you finding these men? Are you doing online dating, or how are you putting yourself in a select few men?
You know, first of all, I don't find men. Men find me.
Okay. Okay.
I do have a Bumble profile. That's the only dating profile I have. And I have the free version because I am not paying a penny for that. I am a cheap Indian in that respect. You know, I look at guys' profiles, you know, swipe left, swipe right, whatever. Here's the thing. Whoever I'm matched with on Bumble, I've never messaged them. I'm too scared. I'm scared to meet a stranger. For coffee, drinks, whatever. It's a dangerous world out there, you know, and stranger danger, really. I think I've come to realize I have Bumble just to see what happens. It's more of a research process, research protocol, if you will. So that's one way of, you know, putting myself out there, perhaps interacting with a man. But in terms of, I also meet guys at work that some may consider that taboo, but, you know, in the field I work in, it's inevitable. I work at a luxury fitness club for and I work in operations and marketing, and I'm constantly encountering men who are handsome and fit, and yes, they smile, wink, and flirt with me. But you know, for some reason, it doesn't go beyond that. I see them at work, right? It's my place of employment, but they don't ask me out. I don't know why. Maybe they Googled me and found my Dr. Phil clip. I was on the Dr. Phil show 2 years ago, seeking his advice on my love life and my dating lifestyle. You know, that's when I first publicly revealed that I'm a virgin. I was 33 then, but it's really been a very frustrating journey. And I'm tired of being alone. I am seeking companionship, but that's why I say I'm not desperate for a husband. You know, desperation, you know, makes you weak, and I'm all about woman empowerment. But so, yeah, I'm not desperate for a husband, but I would like companionship. Absolutely. I'm looking for my soulmate, my one and only. A one night stand will just devastate me. So that's where I am at
now. You're 35. You've not done that for so many years. So why start now, right?
Exactly.
You're in a public facing position where it seems like the men that come through to the place where you work, actually you have some things in common because you like fitness yourself and they do. And in your words, you said they are very handsome.
Right.
So I think I'll be interested to find out like why it is that it is not picking up from when you meet them to actually going on a date. So you did mention that you went on Dr. Phil, which I can include a link in the show notes for people to watch that interview with Dr. Phil. But I'm curious, what was his take on your situation, 33 at the time? And I don't know if you were in that position, but what was his take in terms of like what you need to do?
So you have to understand, I filmed the Dr. Phil show episode during lockdown. So I had a virtual audience. I had to take 1 million COVID tests. This was pre-vaccines. And so it was just me and him on stage. His wife was in the audience. And there was no way of going out there, right, to date. Not that I ever even do that to begin with, but the only way they even have any sort of social connection is through apps and online, right? So at the time on my Bumble profile, I did have specifically listed that I am a virgin. And he saw that. So Dr. Phil's advice, based on what he saw and learned about me, was to not tell men upfront that I am still a virgin. And so this is the advice he's giving me on stage. Everything's being filmed. And listen, I'm super grateful for the experience of having met him, having sought his advice, gotten his advice, being at his studio, which I never thought. It was such a surreal experience, really.
Right.
But I can say in retrospect, you know, like the way it was set up, he gave me his advice, but then I couldn't ask a follow-up question, because what has happened pre-lockdown and afterwards, we're more so in a post-pandemic world. I hope, preferably, like nowadays, right? But like, what if a man wants to sleep with me on the first date? Do I just let him think I'm experienced and I know what I'm doing?
Yeah.
That, because that's false, right? So at that point, I feel I do have to disclose my truth, that he would.
Yeah.
So that's really what, like how the Dr. Phil experience came and went. Like, it was a wonderful experience filming it, being on national television for first time. I'm the daughter of immigrants. Nothing was ever handed to me. I am not a product of nepotism by any means.
Yeah.
So yeah, all that is great, but there was just some like confusion, I guess you could say, like, well, what if this, what if that, and I just couldn't ask him all that on air.
So I have to say that as a matchmaker,
Mhm.
and also from the perspective of I coach clients in what I call the love attractor plan, where you're setting yourself to attract the right kind of love, your picture perfect love. I feel like your situation where, and I'm not trying to be, disagreeing with Dr. Phil or anything, but I actually feel like you need to put that up front.
Right.
Because if those guys that you're saying you meet with them and then the moment you disclose that you're a virgin, they run the other way, those will be weeded out from the beginning.
Yes, I agree.
And
I don't want to waste
only
anybody's time.
the ones who are okay with it will come forward, and you'll be going on a date. You already know there's no elephant in the room. He knows, and then you're just picking up from there. But if you don't disclose it, you're just going to be going on date after date after date because they don't know, and they may not be in agreement with that you're a virgin. And I actually did a poll where I was asking men, in preparation of this interview. And I just asked the question of like, would you date a woman who is 35 and a virgin? And let me tell you, a lot of them said no because they feel like it's a lot of pressure.
They're lost. They're not real men.
Yes. I mean, it's their preference and we have to respect that. But there was a subset of those that said absolutely. And so to me, it's like, you weed out the other ones who don't like it, and then you just open yourself to those who are serious. So that's what I would say as a matchmaker and as a date coach, is that you need to put it out there. Absolutely.
I agree.
It's like I come from a very values-based approach of matching. And to me, that falls into that. If you don't have the same values with the person, then if they are the ones that want to sleep with you on the first date, then you don't have the same values. You
I
don't
agree.
even need to waste your time meeting with that person.
Right.
So anyway,
you and I think alike.
so that's my thought, is just put it out there and then you weed out the rest.
Right.
And that's why even I take it from my recruitment as an executive recruiter approach. When we're trying to attract the right candidates, what do? We put all the experience that we're looking for. And then only those people that fit that criteria would put their application forward. Now, if we just put that we're hiring a VP of this, and then we don't have all this criteria, guess what? We're going to get every Tom, Dick, and Harry applying for this job, right? So I think it's the same approach to this, is that you put yourself out there and you state that you're a virgin, and only those that like that will come forward. So that's what I think.
I agree with you 1000%.
Yeah. So so anyway, I was also looking at your profile when I scanned it a little bit on the type of guy that you like, and one of the guys that you picked out there is one of my favorites, Trevor Noah.
Right.
Yeah, so speaking about that, what does your ideal mate look like? We know Trevor Noah, he's a celebrity.
He's one of my celebrity crushes. Yes.
Yeah. So, but what does an ideal mate look like for you?
My ideal mate is a chivalrous gentleman who is handsome, ambitious, fitness oriented, and will treat me like a queen. That's in a nutshell. That's my ideal mate. So I'll say it again for anyone who missed it the first time.
Okay.
A chivalrous gentleman who is handsome, ambitious, fitness oriented, and will treat me like a queen. Oh, and also we have to have chemistry and compatibility. That's a given.
Oh, for sure. So
So
what
yeah.
about like you don't look at like religion, you don't look at like what color or, do they need to be South Asian? Like what does that look like?
I look up to Priyanka Chopra so much. I'm 35. She is just a few years older than me. I grew up watching her in Bollywood movies, and then she delved into Hollywood, right? And
Mm,
now look at her. She's married to Nick Jonas, who is not Indian, who is a decade younger than her. They
right.
have a daughter. She has it all. She really has it all. Um, so to answer your question specifically, no, skin color, religion, race, those are not deal breakers at all. I don't like to generalize. It's whoever I have a connection and chemistry with. As for religion, yes, I'm Hindu, but I'm also a non-practicing Hindu. And so, again, and I'll mention Priyanka Chopra and Nick Jonas again. They're from two completely different religions, but they respect each other and others' religions, and they practice both, right? So for me, that's ideally what I look for. Just someone who has the same values and ambitions and wants to grow together, for the future, towards the future, towards goals. And those are the things I look for. And so yeah, so religion, race, skin color, those things don't matter. Just again, someone who's sophisticated and has the same mindset, who's just a guy who's going to treat me like a queen and will respect my ambition, my choice in life. I'm specifically referring to me still being a virgin.
Right.
He's not just going to leave me in a one night stand even after I get a ring. He should be there for me for eternity. In my Indian culture, marriage is forever.
Yeah.
And I need a ring before my first time happens with my one and only. And so that's really in a nutshell what I'm looking for.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that. You know what you want and
Exactly.
and you're not limited to like I want this type of person and so it sounds like you're open to some different
Absolutely, yeah.
out
No, I'm
there.
not, and the women get a derogatory labeled. The women can be called picky and too selective, but I don't think that's a problem at all. I know who I want, and I'm not trying to waste anybody's time. I don't want to waste my own time. I'm 35, And I
Right.
just want to add one more thing. My fourth and last grandparent mother, my fourth and see, I'm choking up right now. My fourth grandparent passed away 6 months ago. She was my dad's mom, and I was very close to her growing up. And she was in her 90s, and she had pancreatic cancer.
Mhm.
And this happened in India, and here I am in America, right? I found out a couple months prior why she was so sick, but then with living life in America, it slipped my mind. It did. And the
Mhm.
day I found out she died, I was an emotional mess. I cried my eyes out, and it hit me that something, we're all going to go one day,
Yeah.
right? It's a fact of life, and I'm 35, and I just don't want to be alone anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking for the one. And like I said earlier, I'm not desperate, but I'm definitely determined to find my soulmate.
Yeah.
So here I am putting myself out there, and hopefully he'll find me.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm sorry to hear of her passing and
Thank you.
may she rest in peace. And
Mhm.
I take it from the perspective of like when our loved ones like that die, they become our angels. So she's
Right,
looking out for you and hopefully she will sort of guide you towards going to the right person that you're supposed to have your
right,
romantic life with. But
right.
and then I want to hear from, I know you have something that you're working on about 5 dates or something like that, but I want to hear how are you putting yourself out there, including that piece? Is it a show um,
Oh,
or how are you putting yourself out there to meet the one?
So, your timing couldn't be perfect to ask that specific question. Right before we started this Zoom meeting, I saw the trailer from my episode. Um, so the show is called Five Guys a Week, and it's going to air on Lifetime Network this Wednesday.
Oh,
And so it's a reality TV dating show. I applied to it last summer. It's been quite a journey, and the reason I applied to a reality TV dating show to find love is because one, conventional dating methods haven't worked for me. And
mm-hmm,
two, I don't want an arranged marriage by my conservative parents. So
mm-hmm,
I need to find another strategy. And so I have read the success stories of many reality TV dating shows bringing couples together. And so I'm like, something, hey, I'm going to try it. And so my persistence paid off. I was cast by the show. And the premise of the show is a single lady, me in this case, lives with and dates 5 guys at once.
Are you serious?
Yep, it's
Nice.
a very unusual social experiment,
So just
but
literally, there's no romantic, like, you're still gonna be a virgin after the show, right?
you'll have to watch and see. It's going to start streaming this Wednesday on Lifetime Network's website. No, but the single lady lives with and dates 5 guys at once, and as the week progresses, she kicks each one out one by one, and
Oh,
at the end of the
eliminate.
week, she picks a
Okay.
winner. It was
Ah,
a wonderful experience. I had a fabulous time filming. It was unlike anything I had ever done before. You got to understand something. I forget about sex, i.e., making love. I've never even lived with a guy.
wow.
I've only had
And now
female
you're living with
roommates,
five.
and then all of a sudden, I'm living with 5. It was just, again, my life goes from one extreme to the other, So, so that was it was a very surreal, brand new experience. Producers and directors were wonderful. They treated me like a princess. They guided me the entire way. It was a wonderful experience, and the trailer has just dropped. It's going to be on my Instagram after we end this call. I was getting ready for our call before, so I couldn't really post it online before. But yeah, I'm very excited for audiences to follow my journey and join me on my search for love. It was a wonderful experience.
Oh, so we're doing this interview. We don't know if you found love or I mean, we have to wait till we watch the show. I know that.
Yes,
So essentially, you could have found love, I guess.
it's possible. You'll have to tune in and see. Just wait 48 hours, and you can watch it all online.
Oh, wow. That's exciting. Wow. One thing I love about your story is that one, you're not shy to be in
Ah,
front of, an audience and like have the whole world essentially know about your story and being a virgin. And so I think it inspires people who
mm,
may be in the same situation. So speaking of that same person who may be in the same situation, what would you say to her? We're saying her because you're a female.
mhm.
Maybe even a guy. There might be a guy out there who's 35 or a woman who's 35 and single. What would you say to her to have her keep going and not feel desperate, but still be determined to find her
Right.
soulmate?
I decided to be vocal about my most intimate truth because I know our society ostracizes people like me. Oh, they're freaks, they're losers, they're not cool. We live in a society where sex is thrown at us 24/7. And even for me personally, like I've often not been invited to parties or events. I've spent every birthday by myself just because people know my truth, that oh, they think I'm weird and I'm not fun to hang out with. But you've said it yourself, right? I have a great personality, and I don't think I'm like that at all. And so I just want to break the stereotype that virgins are not freaks. We are people with feelings, and we just have strong values and high morals, and we're not freaks, and there's no reason for us to be ostracized in society. We're normal people. It's better to be a virgin than to lead a promiscuous life and risk yourself with an STD or UTI, and for us women, an accidental pregnancy. Us women, we have to go on the pill or get a diaphragm, or have some other sort of birth control, and for men, they just put on a condom. It's so unfair. I just want to say to folks out there who are in the same boat as me, you're not alone. You're not weird. You're not a freak. Just be proud of your truth. Because I came to a point in my life where I decided I'm going to own my truth and just be proud of it. And that's not to say that 5 years prior I was ashamed of my truth. I was just more private about it. It just took years of therapy. I will say therapy. I'm a big proponent of mental health awareness. Go to therapy, talk about your feelings to a professional. It's so worth it. But it took years of therapy and just emotional growth to own my truth and put myself out there. So to folks out there who are like me, just be proud of yourself. Be proud of what makes you unique.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I didn't share this with you before, but I was also a virgin until I got engaged.
Oh, yay!
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
So,
Oh, thank you for
um,
sharing.
and I was a lot younger at that time. I was probably like 24, I think. is when I
Uh-huh.
was engaged. So I can relate to, for me, it was more from my Christian background that I really valued that very much. And I did not want to give up my virginity just to give up. But
Right.
in another backstory, there was also a rape involved
Oh no.
before when I was younger. So, you know, that actually got me
Sorry.
more determined that I needed to maintain. So I say that I was a virgin because the first time was not, it was against my will. And,
Right.
but I would have kept going, right, until I was married and in a relationship. So
Right.
I am saying this to say that I can relate. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, to the woman that you were speaking to, absolutely, absolutely, you're not alone.
Right.
There's so many people. I'm in the love world, and I talk to different people, different from different walks of life. And yes, if you want to maintain your virginity until you meet that special somebody, absolutely, we're cheering for you from
Yes. You do you.
yeah, yeah. So, but yeah. So, anything else that you want to share with us? I mean, you have what seems to me like a very exciting life. You have this TV show on Lifetime coming up. You were on Dr. Phil. I know
Uh-huh.
you can just go on Google and like type your name, and different articles come up. Um,
Right.
what else is coming up for you?
I started doing stand-up comedy earlier this year. So my
Yeah.
next comedy gig is on Sunday, September 25th in Los Angeles.
Mhm.
It's at Flappers Comedy Club in Burbank. And so I'm working on my set still so I can present to a live audience, more entertainment and jokes.
Yeah.
Comedy kind of just happened by accident. I mentioned earlier that I have spent every birthday and holiday by myself, and I've cried tears of loneliness, and I've been on an emotional roller coaster, ups and downs in my life. And in 2022, I decided that I'm not going to be like that anymore. I'm going to be happy. And
Yeah.
so on January 1st, I bought tickets to see Jay Leno at Flappers.
Ah,
And I grew up watching him on the Tonight Show and on TV, and just to see him live was a thrilling experience. And that night at Flappers Comedy Club, as I was leaving, they were advertising comedy classes, and I signed up. And it's been quite a journey since then. I've learned that comedy is challenges and hardships plus time.
ah,
After enough time has passed from those challenges and hardships, you spin those experiences in a positive way. And
yeah.
so for me, it's been a very thrilling, and for me, comedy has been a very therapeutic and cathartic experience. And
Mhm.
if it weren't for comedy, I would have just been drowning in the misery of
Right.
my challenges and hardships in life. And so I actually poke fun at the fact that I'm still a virgin, and I just make audiences laugh, and it's been a lot of fun. So yeah, my next show is next Sunday, in 6 days, 5 p.m. at Flappers Comedy Club in Burbank. So buy tickets.
Nice.
Google me online, and you'll find the link to buy tickets.
Yeah, and I love that your Instagram page, it's just full of your comedy stuff you do. But no, I do
Yes.
I do love that very much, that you have taken your life and you have turned it into making it entertainment for
Right.
people, making people laugh and making yourself laugh in the process.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I love that. So
Thank
comedy, and
you.
then we have the show on Lifetime that is airing in a couple of days. Uh,
Correct. Yeah.
we're filming today on September 19th, so this will be released on October 1st. So it'll be, a couple weeks after this has aired, but we'll be able to include that in the
Uh-huh.
show notes so people can watch. Yeah.
Right.
So
You know,
anything else?
laugh laughter is the best medicine.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, laughter is the best medicine. We only live one life, and it's so important to just follow your passion, both
Yeah.
professionally and also be with the one you love, not someone who you're forced to be with. Like that's what my parents still want me to do, like arranged marriage. Ew, no, thank you.
Are they supporting you in your comedy, in being a comedian?
They actually have no clue that I do comedy. They have no clue I'm even on this TV show on Lifetime Network.
Oh my God, you're keeping it a secret. They don't hear from anyone else?
If they have heard anything, they haven't told me anything. I just no, my parents are immigrants, right, to America. I don't think in their wildest dreams they ever would imagine that I would go on national television, whether it's Dr. Phil or Lifetime Network, or even talk to a live audience about my journey, about my most intimate truth. It would never occur to them. Now, if they ever do Google me and they find out either through online or from people, I'll deal with that. I'll cross that bridge when I get there, you know? But for
Right.
me to tell them that I went on a dating show and I'm talking about my virginity on TV and to a live audience, that's just gonna open up a whole can of worms. And I don't want to deal with that family drama right now. No, thank you. Hard
Yeah,
pass.
yeah. Wow, wow. And did I read somewhere that when you went back to India or something, or somebody went back to India, they say that you were in a relationship, you are married and everything? Did I read that?
Yeah, so 5, 6 years ago, so I was what, 29, 30 then. My father lied to all my extended family that I'm already married.
Oh my gosh.
For him, it was easier to just lie to everybody when they were asking, "Oh, why isn't she married yet? Like, where's the wedding? We didn't get an invitation or whatever." My
Mhm.
dad just shut all that down by telling everybody, but in essence lying that
Yeah.
what? I'm already married.
Oh, wow. So this is considered a negative then
Yeah,
in
so
culture.
it's definitely in conservative traditional Indian culture, which is how my parents are. That's how they think.
Mhm.
It's my parents are very disappointed that I am 35
Yeah.
and still not married, but I know for a fact that they would be happy to know that I am still a virgin. I'll-
Um,
if we ever had that conversation, listen, my parents never talked to me about sex growing up.
yeah.
I learned about it from health class in school,
Wow.
and and all those Bollywood movies I watched growing up, they never showed sex. They showed, if anything, holding hands was the most thing that the actor and the actress did on in movies. They never even showed a kiss in the movies that I grew up watching.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
but yeah, so sex was never talked about in my class in my home. And so and to this day, like I cringe if I have to have that conversation with my parents. And I'm 35. I guess I'll never grow out of it.
Yeah, no, I can relate. My culture background also, maybe it's just my family, I don't know, but like my thing is I never had children.
Hmm.
So it's like, oh, why don't you are you gonna have children? When are you
Right.
gonna give us my parents not so much, but like extended family always trying to,
Society, right.
yeah, poke their nose into my business. So I'm like, no, are you gonna come help me raise this child that you want me to have?
Right.
You
No,
know,
and children are cute. Don't get me wrong, right? They're adorable.
yeah.
But I have a finance degree, right? I went to business school, and raising children isn't cheap. I saw an article
Yeah, yeah.
on some media platform the other day. It'll cost $300,000 to raise a child. Food, clothing, braces, car,
All those things.
college, all that.
Yeah.
And so I just think, regardless of any culture, you got to make sure you're financially able to provide for a child. And to your earlier point, like society, extended family, core family, they'll never be happy with our individual choices. Like, I'll say for example, from my situation right now, for over a decade, my parents and everybody have been bugging me about when I'm getting married, right? But then
Mhm.
let's say I get married, then they're going to be like, when you're having kids. So then let's say I have one kid, and then they're going to be like, oh, you should have another kid. And then
Yeah.
it just never stops.
Yeah.
Like you can never make anybody happy. What I've learned is you just have to focus on you and
Yeah.
make yourself happy,
That is
regardless of what
very
other
true.
people think.
Hmm. You're so right about that. Sing it from the rooftop.
Yes.
Yeah, so this has been a lot of fun getting to know you and to, learn what you're
Aw.
doing, what you're getting involved in. Is there anything else that you feel like you want to share that, maybe I didn't ask?
No, I actually need a glass of water because I'm so parched. No, but I think I enjoyed having this great, important conversation with you. I think it's so critical that we talk about the real issues in our generation, and for us women, especially millennials, that we're facing. And it's unless we have a conversation, we can't make progress. And
Right.
so I'm so thrilled to have been on your platform and to talk about these things and to share my journey and to serve as a source of inspiration and entertainment.
Yeah, no, perfect. I loved it. I've enjoyed talking to you also. So if things don't favor what you want on the Lifetime show that we'll be watching in a couple of days, you need to come back because I'm a matchmaker, and we'll try this new thing and see if that will get you a match. But we hope that you found a match with the 5 men that you. I don't know how long it was that you
With
were in
one,
this
I,
house.
I'm a monogamist. I only need one man,
You only
not
need
all five
one
guys.
man, yeah. So if that worked out, we'll be celebrating you. If it didn't work out, come back. We will match you. But in the meantime, do you want to tell the audience how they can connect with you?
I am everywhere. Just Google my name, Sonali, Sonali Chandra. I am everywhere. I have my own website, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn. Google me and you'll find me. So yeah, and like you said, Kanu, my comedy clips are all online as well. So I've broken them down into little clips, and so audiences and supporters can find entertainment there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was born to serve as an entertainer and as a source of inspiration, and I'm very humbled and proud of what I do and to serve in that capacity.
Well, we're cheering you on and we're excited for you. So there you go, folks. Go and watch some bite-sized comedy skits that you put on her Instagram and be entertained. And we'll be cheering for you, like I said, that you find your soulmate. Yeah, so thanks for being on Real Love Real Stories, and we look forward to hearing and following your journey as you go.
Thank you for your support. I love you all.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You take care. Look at you, my friend. You made it all the way to the end. I'm so grateful. So the fact that you did make it all the way to the end, that means you liked this episode. So go ahead and be a hero. Send it to 3 people. And then go to iTunes where you can rate and review this podcast.